Hey everybody, this is John. Welcome to the free video. So, what do we got cooking here? So we had the, let's get an intraday chart here. So, daily chart, first here. Yesterday we got annihilated, right? And then today was strong most of the day. And then you can see things kind of puked at the end of the day. Okay, so why? Well, let's actually look at the S&Ps here. I want to look at a 5-minute chart of the S&Ps. So you can see here that, down at one point this thing was up like 30 points and now it's only up like 5. So now is this toast? Well, on a weekly chart, we're fine, we're down here, but what's going on here is that oil is just falling apart. This is scary for the markets. I mean, this is kind of like nobody's expecting this. And you can see as oil falls, S&Ps are falling because they're looking at this and going like, oh my gosh, what is going on here? Okay. And a big part of this is understanding what kind of pattern is taking place here so we can identify this and kind of stay on it, so to speak. And some of the tools that I like to use are things like on balance volume. It'll tell you like when there's consolidation here. Of course, we had a squeeze here on the 5-minute chart, but it's also telling you the strength of the expected move to the downside. Okay, and if we look here at a daily chart, you can see here the on balance essentially is just confirming it all the way down. When you see something like this and you get kind of a divergence where prices are going higher, like right here, you make a higher high, but on balance volume makes a lower low, that's very, very negative, and you can actually look for a pullback here. And so when you combine these two with individual chart patterns, that can be very, very positive, okay? This also goes hand in hand with Tesla. Obviously, this is something that people have been watching very, very closely. And as you can see here, that you've got kind of this head and shoulders pattern that's been kind of setting up. And on something like this, it's the same thing where you can see that, okay, wow, there's this thing setting up here. And then on balance volume actually starts making lows before price does. And it's like, wow, this thing is going to get obliterated. And those are the kind of things that I've found with chart patterns that have been working very, very well in this market, will continue to work well. TLT, so we took profits on TLT yesterday, looking to buy a pullback here. And of course, with oil kind of selling off in kind of a panic mode, it's gone back up. So I'm going to be very, very aggressive there about trying to pick up pullbacks on that. And then of course, another one I continue to look at and to like here has been, in terms of the indexes, you can see that the Russell here continues to hold it pretty well. Big consolidation, big squeeze. And at this point, the on balance volume is saying like, hey, there's going to be some positive stuff going on here. And part of the reason I'm not too excited yet about the short side of the market is because of what's going on there. Okay, and if you're seeing this, it's your last chance to sign up for our Saturday class that essentially tying it all together, simplerstocks.com/profit. And this is going to be patterns and pattern recognition. My favorite patterns, there's going to be, it's either 11 or 12. Well, something like a wedge, which is kind of a pattern that typically everybody knows about, but then it's just kind of understanding the context of telling if this is going to work or fail using a couple of indicators that I like to look at for that. And of course, measuring the volume underneath it and other key indicators like the squeeze, and then how most profitable be to trade options on a pattern like that too. The two things that stand out to me here, of course, hey, we're going to go through and we're going to identify them. Part of this too, this is kind of how you help tell bigger picture what's going on in the markets, because patterns tell all. And it's important to understand that patterns are a reflection of market attitudes, but it's also important to understand when hedge funds are actually taking advantage of you and writing algorithms to create essentially patterns, fake patterns. You always hear that, gosh, that head and shoulders pattern, it failed. I can't believe that it failed. What was going on here? Well, you just got algoed, meaning that they deliberately did buy and sell orders to create, the illusion of some kind of a pattern, and then got everybody into the short side and then ripped it up. That happens more often than not these days because of the algorithms and the high frequency traders. There's a couple of simple tools to recognize that, okay, and not get sucked into it and then be on the same side as the high frequency traders and the algos, because guess what? A lot of times in this market, that's the only time you're going to be making money on this. Okay, so that's what we got. And of course, I always like to throw in some more stuff too. If you're seeing this, you can get it for $297. Simplerstocks.com/profit. Looking very much forward to hanging out with you this Saturday. going through all that stuff. The class is going to be this Saturday, 2 to 6 East Coast time, which of course is 1 to 5 Central time. All right. You guys have a great night, and we'll see you at the next update.